Hey guys, I'm back here again. CNH Small, and you got another quick video here for you. This will probably be one of my last videos here for a while. I'm not feeling too good. I got some health problems I'm dealing with right now, and this will probably be the last video for at least a few weeks until I get hopefully better. So I just want to do a quick video here for you guys. We had a customer job here this past week. He dropped off his 4-stroke Ryobi string trimmer over here for that. This one has the combi attachment, called shaft on this one right here specifically for that, because you have the attachment down here on the actual boom shaft portion right here. You can take this thing off right here and insert a different attachment, like a some kind of hedge clippers or one of their multiple attachments they have on their website here for that machine right here specifically for that. What he has on the head down here right now, he took the guard off or something on here as well too, and he has like a plastic cutter head on this thing down here as opposed to the typical string trimmer head on here for that. So it's like a call a coarse or a heavy plastic cutting head on it right now. It's getting kind of worn on here for that, and these things should be replaced, I don't know, every few hours if you're using it quite heavily out there for that. But it's getting worn down pretty bad, and that's one of the reasons why I really don't like those like semi-permanent style heads on it for that, because typically if you have a bump head with a like a .95 string trimmer head on there, you can just keep on having new string come out. And this one right here, you got to manually take these things off and replace them on it for that. Plus the guy also took off the called cover attachment right here, to keep the crap from flying up around the whole area right here for that. So the guy took off the safety safety feature cover right there for that, so the stuff doesn't blow up in your face and hit your face out there for that. So you always got to wear eye protection when we're using this, because he does not have the big cover on the front down here for that. So this machine is the Ryobi 4-stroke machine. This is the superficial designation S430, made by Ryobi here specifically for that. There's your name, there's your designation on the top right here, S430, and it's a 4-stroke machine. It has a overhead valve engine on here, this one specifically for that. And if you're looking for the specifics of the model and everything else, you just gotta flip the thing over here, and you can look at it on the bottom of the machine's cover down here. They have the information tag right on the bottom of the machine down here. If you're looking up for parts and information like that, it's always on the base of the machine where it actually contacts. So if you're looking for the information, always remember it's on the bottom portion. So a good way to remember that is think of your throttle right here for that. Your throttle on the base down here. Just go all the way up to the engine right here, and you'll flip it over, and you'll see the black and gray, or black and silver tag, I should say, right here. Has all your information right here for that. This thing can zoom in here, wipe this thing off. I got a little bit of grease on here, so wipe it off a little bit here. Okay, here we go. This is a Ryobi RY34446, date of manufacture 2013. And let me see what else we got here. Emissions control information is I think it's a 50 hour on here for that. Yeah, it's 50 hours. And this thing is also made in China. Year 2013, made in China right here for that. So let me see, and zoom in here and get you a better shot for that, guys. So bear with me here for a couple seconds. Here we go. Let me see and get a better shot. There you go. Right, there's the model number, serial number, and a made in China right there as well too, and the other portion right there as well too. So there you go. And the reason the customer brought it over to us here this past week was they were having problems with the machine starting and running. The guy told me they originally put a new carb on a machine. However, whenever he did that, he started up and the thing ran for maybe about 3 or 4 minutes and started dying out on him again. And what happened was the guy did not clean the tank out, unfortunately. the guy had all kind of water and sediment on the tank. He did not clean the tank out. He did not clean the filter out, and because of that, he was sucking up, you know, that debris all over again, and he contaminated the whole carb all over again in here as well too. So anytime you're trying to do it yourself, guys, I strongly advise you have to take the tank off. If you can't take the tank off on the machine, just do a thorough cleaning of the tank. Me personally, all I do is get some you know, like brake cleaner, get some gasoline. Typically, if it has any kind of like real hard, you know, deposits like old gas like stuck in there, I just hit with a brake cleaner. Then I fill the tank up about halfway with gasoline. You shake the tank around a few times in there. You dump it out in a you know, EPA you know, safe container out there. Fill it up some more gasoline and you know, shake it around again. Do it about 3 or 4 times. And once you verify with a flashlight that the tank does not have any kind of sediment, water, or debris still inside the tank, whether it's like stuck on the walls, because unfortunately we've seen jobs over here that would like, you know, sit in some guy's storage unit for maybe 5 or 10 years out there, and what happens is the gasoline would become evaporated, and it would leave behind a real thick varnish, and the varnish would be like almost like peeling inside the tank right there for that. In order to prevent any kind of future problems with the machine, you want to do a good thorough cleaning of the entire tank, and therefore then it may take 3 to 4 times to you know, thoroughly clean the actual tank correctly, because you can also put like a wire brush or something down inside there, you know, some kind of a wire brush you use to clean out you know, like small cylinder boards and stuff like that. And you can just stick it down inside and just scrape off the whole insides of the tank. And doing that, oops, sorry, sorry about that. Sun's getting in my eyes out here. And just do a quick cleaning of the tank. Make sure everything's you know, clean out of there. Make sure the gas cap is not leaking on here as well too, because sometimes the gas cap may leak on these things out here. It's not leaking on this one specifically for that, but it was. We had another job over here before, and he had a crack on the side on here for that. So always verify the gas cap is okay on this machine. So here's what we did on here. We put a new carb on the machine. I'll get to get carb out of the packaging right here if I can here with my hand, one hand over here. So bear with me here for a couple seconds, guys. The machine's ready to go back to the customer here, and here's the old carb, and we had to replace the fuel lines because unfortunately. The new revised carb we got on here from Walbro, they did modify the carb on here specifically for that. So I'll show you. Get a better side shot right here for that. Okay, this is the new carb they got on here. We put typical Tygon fuel line on this one right here specifically for that, because the old carb, whenever we took the old carb off the machine right here, we left the old fuel lines on a machine, and unfortunately the old fuel lines, they were swelled up, and I basically cut them back about a ½ an inch each, you know, on each portion right here, and it still will not you know, seal correctly on the actual carb assembly before that. So what we did was we put a new Tygon fuel line on here. Tygon line worked fine. It's nice and tight. One thing I do recommend is when you do put new fuel line on these small engines like this one right here, always make sure the fuel line is clean and dry, and make sure the inlet and outlet of the carb on these things is also clean and dry, because if it has any kind of lubrication or any kind of oil or you know, some kind of a slick fluid on it, the fuel lines will not want to stay up on these things. So always verify the inlet and outlet of these carbs is bone dry. Typically I use brake cleaner to clean them up first before I you know, put the inlet and the outlet lines on here. So do that one specific thing, and it'll keep the fuel lines in place, and they will not want to move. So on this one right here, they did have a revised design. The old one right here, this is the 2013 production one right here. They have a atmospheric screw on the top right here. So when you're like looking at it sideways right here, let me see, get a better side shot here. Get this thing out of the way here. There we go. The old one right here, they have a atmospheric screw on here. Plus, he also revised the design of the carb's body on here as well too. They do have design changes on here. This one right here, the old one right here, the main line right here is different. They have a different barb right here, And the new one, it's bent over to the, it's going out, it's coming down, and it's going over to the left if you're looking at it from the back. And the top secondary one over here as well too. You can see right here, it is different. They do have a revised design change right here for that. This one right here, it's coming out and going over towards the air blocks right here. These two on this one right here, they're just simply coming straight out on here for that. That's one design change they have. And this is a older, genuine Walbro carb here specifically for that. So it is a OEM carb. And what happened was the guy could not get this thing to idle correctly as well too, and he basically screwed the idle screw all the way down on here as well too. It would basically idle at a real high idle, but the problem was it should not be idling real high. It should be idling nice and low on here for that. And we have the factory setting on here right as it is right now, so you can compare them. So there you go on the other side right here. Factory setting is the idle screw is about a halfway down into the actual, you know, the front, you know, call front. They call it a front plastic plate. It's where the throttle control hooks on right here, so you can see right there. I'm just going to give you a better shot here while it's engaging and disengaging, so you can get a better side shot there for you. So it's about a halfway down right now on there for that engaging and disengaging. What happens is he had the original one on here. He screwed the thing all the way down in here, guys. Let me get a better side shot here. See, it's basically all the way down into the you know, the actual plastic housing right there for them. Because of that, it was idling extremely high and extremely fast. And we told the customer it should not be doing that ever, because if it's doing that, there's something wrong with the carburetor itself right there for that. So we went ahead and ordered a new updated carb, and I'll put a link at the bottom of the page in the actual description of the carb's part number and where you can actually purchase them. Yeah, a genuine OEM upgraded one, because this one right now is a revised, I think it's a revised 2019 or 2020 version. I can't remember exactly what it is, but it is a revised carb, and it'll work perfectly fine. However, like I said before, you'll have problems with the fuel lines, because as I said before, the old fuel lines on here, they will not mate up correctly with the original one. They even have the date stamped into the one fuel line right here. This one right here says 10/12/2012 right here for that. This one right here, it says made, let me see here, made it, what it says made it 155 or something on here, 10/12/12. So this thing is 8 years old. The fuel line, it's remarkable the fuel line even lasted that long, but this is an 8-year-old fuel line, and it would not mate up with the new carburetor, because the new carb had a slightly I call it slightly thinner, I'm going to call the inlet and then the outlet. This one has a slightly thicker one on these ones right here, so you will have to put new fuel line on this machine if you're installing a new revised carb assembly on here like this one right here for that. And the other noticeable feature was the new carb does not have the idle mix, or what I'll call atmospheric screw mix on top right here. As I said before, this one has the two inlet and outlets on here. This one has the revised one. One's going over here and the other one's going over here as well too, so they did change that feature on here. Plus you have this older design right here. It has the screw here for the atmospheric screw, like a mixed screw, and this one does not have that on here for that. So they did revise that one specific thing, and then they did alter the carb slightly on here for that as well too. So that's one different feature they have. So if you're going to be installing a new carb, always remember to put the new fuel line. I recommend Tygon fuel line on this machine as well too. That's what we put on here, because that's the best one you can put on these smaller ones right here. And we also had to put the new spark plug, and we also had to change the oil out a couple times in this machine as well too. These small ones, like this one right here, they typically take, it's about three ounces of oil in this engine right here. Whoop, let me get this thing up here, sorry about that. You have your crank oil dipstick right down here in the back. Here's your dipstick right over there, and you simply drain it out when the engine's hot. And I think it takes about 3.5. I can't remember exactly what it was, but if you have an owner's manual, your owner's manual will say what it is exactly in there for that. But I don't have my information I'm gonna call it information online data data pack right now with me right here for that. But it had changed the oil a couple of times. You have to use 20. I think it's 20 to be a 50 in this engine right here, because these things run hot, and you have to change it out with a thick, heavyweight oil in there as well too, guys. So don't put any kind of a thin 5W30 or 10W30 oil in this engine right here. You have to use the manufacturer's specification, which I believe is the 20W50 oil, and that's typically like motorcycle oil out there for that. I recommend using Mobil 1 full synthetic. It will make the machine last longer, and it should also help dissipate the heat better as well too in the engine for that. So we'll go ahead and fire this thing up here for you guys and see how it runs here after we did the carb. These things typically, whenever they're cold, you want to put it on full choke, and typically we did start up here a few days ago after we put the new carb on here, because typically anytime I got one of these 4-stroke string trimmers over here, we like to have them sit over here for about 1 or 2 days to verify how they're going to function a day or two later, because we don't want to give them back to the customer and have the customer call us up and say, why ain't my machine running, what would you guys do to it? So that's why we let it sit for at least a day or two and to see how it's going to function, make sure it's not leaking anywhere, and also verify the engine is stone cold and it will start up okay on the job here as well too. Plus, one other thing we did notice on here was the valve cover. We took the valve cover off in this machine, and the valves were out on here as well too. The valves need to be adjusted, so I believe the valves need to be adjusted I think about every 10 to 15 hours. Don't quote me on that, but I went online and I was researching this model specifically online when I was looking up the parts information and stuff like that. And the valves need to be adjusted every so many hours because of the overhead valve design. They do have adjustable valves, so always be mindful of that. The valves need to be adjusted every few hours on this one here specifically for that. So we'll go ahead and fire it up here, guys. Enough of the BS. We'll go ahead and get things started up here, and we'll go ahead and get you running here for that. So I got to put the camera down here real quick so I can do that one-handed here. Hold on, guys. Okay, put the cover back on here. Should fire from one pull here, hopefully. Okay, got the machine running here for you guys. Okay, let me put it up on a wall here. Show you how it's running here. Nice smooth idle right here. Go ahead and put that back. Running good. Good idle. Always want to push down on the safety feature right here and give it some gas. Make sure the carb is working okay on the throttle. Before, the screw is about halfway down on the actual piece right here, and the C about halfway down. You want it between halfway on the screw on there for that, the idle speed setting. We'll go ahead and check the head out down here, make sure the head's functioning okay. Go ahead and give it some gas here. The cutter head's working good down there. Good to go down there. Everything's secure. The shaft connector secure on here. There's no loose connections, so looks good. Okay, it passed all the tests. Machine starts up over in about 3 pulls, so it's good to go for the customer. So we'll go ahead and shut the thing off with the kill wire or kill switch right here. So that's everything about the machine, guys. If you have any kind of questions, comments, whatnot about the Ryobi S430 machine. This is the 4-stroke, 4-cycle engine that requires a oil capacity in your crankcase. This one is a overhead valve engine. So if you have any questions, feel free to drop me a message here, and I'll try to get back to you probably within 24 or 48 hours with some kind of basic, answer to your question about this one specific model and problems the customer was having with this machine here for that, guys. So I'll see you guys, and have a nice day.